in the woods, there lived an owl Cailleach. A witch.
Right, Hokum, a new Gothic supernatural horror film, written and directed by Damian McCarthy. I saw it at the cinema a couple nights ago. Had heard very good things. I'm pretty sure it's been getting a lot of rave reviews. I saw the trailer a little while ago and looked very good. Was anticipating this one slightly coming out and was excited to go see this one. Tommy, you haven't seen it yet. I don't think it's got a release date yet over there in Italy for you guys.
Yeah, unfortunately, I checked, looked everywhere, but it doesn't come out until later this year in Italy, and so I couldn't find any other means, legal means of course, to watch it. So I'll just have you pitch it to me, and I'll watch it in time if you think it's worth my time. But before we start, I have two questions for you. The first one is, what the fuck does Hokum even mean? And the second one is, what is Adam Scott doing in this movie?
Crush speaker that booms. I'm killing your brain like a poisonous mushroom. Deadly.
He should be doing Severance.
So the first question, Hokum, I think it's more of an American term, and it's like what you would say if you think some things like like mumbo jumbo, or it's another equivalent. If you was to see a psychic and somebody didn't believe what they were saying, you'd say it's all hokum. It's hocus pocus. It's all bullshit, basically. It's fugazi.
Okay,
so that's what it means, and it's very apt, to be fair, for this film.
Can you imagine a version of this film called Fugazi? And all of a sudden it has a whole different vibe.
It's very well made. It's got great atmosphere, very well directed. Obviously, Adam Scott is fantastic in it. His performance is really good. We've seen his range in Severance and how good he can be in a dramatic role, and here he is playing a guy called Ohm Bauman, and he is a novelist, and he's quite famous around the world. He's been writing this big fantasy trilogy called The Conquistador.
Mm-hmm.
And he's very depressed. Classic, he's sitting there writing his script, smashing the whiskey back, looking at this gun in this box, and you're just like, yeah, okay. We have a very sort of, this is a archetypal character here, the troubled writer, who's successful but still unhappy and still unfulfilled. And he goes to this hotel in Ireland, and we see him looking at this postcard a lot, and we realize that he's going to this hotel to spread the ashes of his mum and dad, because they had their anniversary there. And so that's kind of the plot. That's all the setup, sorry. And when he gets to the hotel, he realizes, obviously, everyone's a bit weird. It's kind of a bit Wicker Man-y-esque. All the characters are a bit offbeat, and we get a bit of a setup of him, classic old man sitting in a chair telling about this Irish folk tale about this witch in the woods. And you're like, pay attention to what this guy's saying, because this crazy old man is about to describe the whole plot.
Classic.
Yeah, classic. And he really does. It is literally to a T what he says happens later on in the film. And you get this really cool diorama that's made in the middle of the hotel that they cut to almost like these little stop motion figurines.
So they're doing a Hereditary.
Of the witch. Yeah, and it's like whoever made the diorama, that all fair play to you. It's beautifully, and it's so creepy. But so that's the setup. They have a honeymoon suite in this hotel, which Olm assumes his parents might have stayed in. And the honeymoon suite has been locked up for years and years, and it's gated. The hotel manager, the creepy old man who was telling the folk story, keeps the key, and he's like, well, the room is haunted. Nobody's allowed in there. The witch is trapped in there. And if we open the door, the witch will be released, basically.
Yeah.
We open on, which is a really cool shot, and it sold me. I thought the film was going in such a different direction. We get the opening of the film starts in the desert, almost like a Lawrence of Arabia scene, and we realize this is from Adam Scott's mind. This is part of his book. He's writing the ending, the epilogue to his epic trilogy, The Conquistador.
You're right.
And so we see, I think they shot it in Abu Dhabi. They have this guy dressed in he looks like a, Spanish conquistador, basically, in his armor, walking across the desert, and he has to make this decision they're looking for this treasure, him and this young boy. And I kind of thought this was actually going to be real. It wasn't just within the character's head. And I was like, oh, cool, he's burying this ancient treasure, and that's going to be, uncovered later on in the story. And we're going to have this like clash of time periods throughout the film. And it's more a thematic. It's wholly a thematic purpose that the scene serves.
Yeah.
To kind of, front load and bookend the film, basically.
I like a movie with a strong theme. So, yeah.
And it does. This one, I say it was overall disappointing because the writing is really strong. The dialogue is really strong. Most of the characters are pretty well realized for the most part, and the performances are all really strong. It's the actual horror elements of this film which really let it down. We have some very obvious jump scares. It's a ghost film. It's so stereotypical ghost in the hotel. And the ghost makeup is kind of a bit shoddy looking. Like, we have it literally just, a bit of white and kind of zombie looking ghosts in this, but just of regular people. And yeah, jump scares they just don't work. And there's a really bad and obvious jump scare like right at the beginning of the film, and every jump scare comes with a bang, like a crashing of the soundtrack as well. Like, hey, make sure I'm making you jump out your seat. You may as well clash two fucking massive drums behind my ears, and you'd get the same reaction at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But yeah, so disappointing in that sense. And I was very surprised how generic it was, especially with the setup, with the stuff that happens in the desert, and then also with the man explaining the folklore elements. And I was like, it looked like it was a film sort of funded by the Irish Council as well. It's not very Irish, this film. It doesn't lean into the cultural elements or the folklore as much as it should do. That it definitely could do, and I was very surprised by that. It just ends up being, unless maybe this, because there is a couple like specific things that happen that the witch does that maybe is taken from Irish folklore, but nothing that we haven't really seen before or of any interest or very specific to the culture.
Does it get really weird?
No, it's so bog standard. There is like one weird scene. Do you want me to spoil this for you or not?
I mean, by the time it comes out in Italy, I probably will have forgotten about the spoilers. So yeah, if you want.
Okay. Spoilers ahead for people who don't want to know, because skip ahead a couple minutes. But we learn, which is probably one of the more interesting elements of the plot. Adam Scott's character is a horrible bastard.
All right.
And he's so mean to everybody, and it kind of is like, oh, is he supposed to be like mean in a charming way, and he's cool?
Don't be mad at Dale for ruining the story and possibly the evening. It's totally fine. I have a lot more stories.
Derek, that you do.
Yeah.
That you do.
Guilty as charged with the stories.
But at one point, like, this hotel bellboy is like, "Oh, yeah, I'm an aspiring writer. I'd love to get your autograph and show you my manuscript." And this guy keeps coming along and saying this, pestering Adam Scott to show him his own script.
Yeah.
And Adam Scott's just like, "Well, you're 40 years old. You're not a professional writer, are you? You're not even a writer. You're a bellboy." And he's like really horrible and burns this guy's hand to get him to go away. And at that point, I was like, wow, you've lost
Fuck
me
this guy.
character. Yeah, I was like, I hate this guy now. But then he commits suicide, or attempts to commit suicide that night.
Okay.
And you're like, okay, it kind of makes sense. He's in so much pain right now, this guy. And we learned that he accidentally...
Poor successful writer. Oh my God.
Exactly.
Sucks to be
living
him.
everybody's dream, but he hates it. It's like, okay, let's swap on, shall we?
Yeah.
But he, we learned that gun that he picks up right at the beginning scene, he accidentally killed his own mother with it.
Oh, okay.
When he was a really young kid, he's playing with the gun and shoots her in the head whilst he's watching this like kids cartoon, which this is the creepiest and best thing the film does, most interesting horror imagery. They do this thing where he's like watching this kid's cartoon, and I think because he has such traumatic memories of this event, like the cartoon's warped in his mind, like it's a bunny rabbit man, kind of Donnie Darko-esque.
Yeah.
But the thing in the TV show has like bug eyes, and it's creepy, and it's telling him, it's like, oh, you killed your mom, you're a worthless piece of shit. It's like talking down to him, and it comes up like a few times in the film, this rabbit thing, which was the best yeah, like I said, the best horror imagery that the film does. So yeah, like his character's really interesting. And, you know, one of the hotel ladies saves him whilst he's hanging from a rope in his room. And he then, after being in hospital, he goes back to the hotel. The girl is missing who saved him, and he wants to help find her to thank her basically for saving his life. And that's how then he sort of unravels the mystery of what's going on with the missing girl and the witch in the honeymoon suite.
All right. And he's got some banger material for his next book as well.
Well, yes. I mean, obviously, yeah, that's kind of the point. It's at the beginning when he already has the end written. We kind of see the end of his story at the beginning of the film.
And he changes it.
And yes, exactly. He's explaining it to the character Fiona, who's the Irish lady who works the hotel, who saves his life. And he says, you know, the conquistador, he's stuck the treasure map in this glass bottle, but the cork is stuck and he's got nothing to open up this glass bottle. And he decides to smash it over the little kid who might be his son, I'm not sure, to open up the treasure map. So he decides to kill the boy to get the treasure. And the Fiona lady's like, well, that's horrible. What a bleak ending. What a bleak ending that is. She's like, I certainly won't be reading that. And he's like, well, you know, it's not supposed to have a happy ending. And then at the end of the story, he changes his book to have a happy ending. And the conquistador decides he's like, oh, you know, son, you smash this over my head and you get the treasure for yourself. And the son decides not to, and they hug it out. That's sort of the happy ending of
that's cute.
The book. Like, you know, there's some good stuff in this. And it's really a shame whilst the bulk of the middle, when we get into the hotel and we're doing the ghost story, it becomes so generic and not scary at all.
Yeah.
I went to go see it with a friend, and we had the cinema was quite empty, but we had a couple sitting 2 rows in front of us, and my God, they were the most annoying people as well. So I'm not sure whether that slightly
Definitely
hampered my enjoyment
yeah.
of the film. There's a character who has an evil turn, like one of the hotel workers, and we realize he's part of the reason Fiona's gone missing.
Oh no.
And once we get the reveal that he's evil, this girl, like 2 rows in front, goes, oh my God, he's a bad man. Like full loud. And me and my mate, that was when we were like, it's time for a shushing, I believe. Let's get shushed.
Oh my God. Yeah, no, that's the true horror. Whenever you go to the cinema, is who you're gonna share the room with. But yeah, this actually sounds interesting to me. Before you went into the spoilers, I was about to say this reminds me a lot of Alan Wake, the video game. Don't know if you've ever played those.
Yeah, I've never really played them, but I know a little bit about them. Yeah.
I mean, it is like, the reason why it reminds me of that is because also those games, especially the first one, are very kind of like that stereotype, the tortured writer, you know, like trying to kind of like find the story to get out of this kind of like situation of depression and guilt and whatever. But like and Alan Wake goes really weird and trippy and Lynchian in its depiction of like madness and all these different like characters that live in the writer's head. So I was hoping for something more akin to that because I think that would be really cool to see on the big screen. But what you described actually sounds quite enjoyable to me. Like I do love that trope of the writer who's trying to kind of like, through the writing, you know, like it's a very kind of like self-serving, especially when you write this kind of stuff. It's very self-serving to write the writer as the hero needs to, but when the writer is not the hero, it's actually a piece of shit and he has to kind of like overcome some huge flaw. I think that's when the story is actually cool and interesting. So
yeah, definitely. Like I can see why this got made and why I'm not entirely sure how Adam Scott got involved, but I can see him reading this script and thinking, because it is the character is really well realized and it's very well written. A lot of the dialogue's very naturalistic, and like he's a charming asshole at the beginning, and then he loses you, and then you pull back and you feel empathetic towards him. And some of the side characters do a really good job in this as well. So it's a shame, man. I'm still surprised at the kind of rave reviews it's getting, to be honest, because it's yeah. I think.
What do you think of Hokum? Yeah.
There you go. We can end it there. I think for horror fans, I'd say it's worth a watch because
Yeah.
of the story and Adam Scott's performance and some of the atmosphere in it. I think you would enjoy it, probably maybe a little bit more than I did. But I think you'll like it.
I
still.
probably will. And I'll let you
Yeah,
know
yeah.
in like 6 months when it finally comes out. It's my fucking country.